Holy crap, is it that time again? I mean, it must be, right? It's Thursday, so it has to be time for another Just Another Fanboy Classic episode. Was that a little bit too overly dramatic? Anyway, this week we take you back to episode number 32 that was originally published on April 6th, 2007. And before I get into it, before I play the episode, I wanted to remind everyone that I have the big episode 300 coming up. Earlier in the week, I mentioned that episode 300 was going to land on October the 11th, though it seems that if you listen to the previous episode, episode number 296, I actually referred to it as celebrated episode number 30 for some reason, because the brain don't quite work as I limp into my second half century upon this earth. But what I'm trying to get at here, folks, is that with Just Another Fanboy Presents launching next week on Thursdays, I'm going to be taking Just Another Fanboy back to one episode a week every Tuesday beginning next week. And that means that episode 300 will actually land on Tuesday, October the 18th. And frankly, the idea right now is to live stream episode 300 with a few guests, either Saturday evening of the 15th or Sunday evening of the 16th. I haven't quite decided which day yet, but I should know by this upcoming Tuesday's episode. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that if you want to send me questions or feedback for episode 300, you have until the end of the day, Friday, October the 14th. And in fact, if you'd like to be a part of the live stream and come on the show for like 10 to 20 minutes at any point, beginning at 7 p.m. Central, either Saturday the 15th or Sunday the 16th, email me at justanotherfanboy@gmail.com and let me know that not only would you like to do that, but let me know which day you would prefer, as that's going to help me choose between the two. Because if most people are available on Saturday, then that's when I'm going to do it. Anyway, those are your updates. Don't forget to check out episode 0 of Just Another Fanboy Presents, which kicks off season 1, where I'm going to be going through the entire Death of Superman crossover event from 1992 to 93. That starts next week. Next Thursday, a week from today, as this episode is landing. You can find the show now at presents.justanotherfanboy.com. And I do urge you to go seek it out as soon as possible if you are at all interested in the show, because I have the trailer up and there's actually a bonus episode up right now that details how you can become a part of the show. So if that piques your interest in any way, rush out. Find that episode, presents.justanotherfanboy.com, listen to it, and it'll give you all the deets, as you young folks say nowadays. Anyway, that's enough. Let's get this frickin' show on the road. So here's episode 32 of the first volume of Just Another Fanboy from April 6th, 2007. Enjoy. You're listening to Just Another Fanboy, the only podcast with ants in its pants. Just Another Fanboy is a Lynx Broadcasting production and a proud member of the Comics Podcasts Network.
Just like a comic book, just like a comic book, just like a comic book, just like a comic book.
Welcome to episode number 32 of Just Another Fanboy. I'm your host, Steeven, and joining me tonight and forevermore, the co-host of Just Another Fanboy and my lovely wife, Karen.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm okay.
You're okay.
I'm not very umped.
You're not very
Not very pumped.
I get some Percocet.
No, thanks. No, thanks. That'd be too pumped. But yeah, I'm a little worried that I'm not going to be on.
That's all right.
Tonight, that I'm not going to.
Are we ever really on?
Yeah, I always am. I am so cool. But I'm not feeling it right now. So I hope you have something interesting to talk about to lead our conversation.
No.
Well, phooey. That's it. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you. I'm Steeven, and I'm just another. Okay, well, I do. I do have
But see, for me, Tuesdays, you don't work on Mondays. You work on Saturdays.
Right.
So your 2 days off are Sunday and Monday. So Tuesdays are like my Mondays. So basically,
Yeah.
I'm coming down from the end of a Monday. And we all know what that's like.
Sounds like somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Yeah, I did have a bad Monday on this fine Tuesday.
Well, I got a couple of announcements. First of all, again this week, there will be no Thrilling Adventures with Norman, Oklahoma. Oh.
Wow.
And the audience says, really?
He must be on vacation.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I also would like to announce that the Comic Book Savant podcast will be celebrating its 25th anniversary this week.
Wow.
So we may have to throw a little something together for him.
I would think so.
A little happy 25.
What?
A little happy 25.
Oh, okay. Speak clearly into the microphone.
I also wanted to remind everybody about the Ask the Fanboys over at the forum, cgspodcast.com.
Yeah, what's that all about? What are they
/forum2.
supposed to ask exactly?
Whatever they want.
So not just like
It doesn't have to be
stuff.
comic book related questions. Whatever
Like,
you want.
What kind of shampoo do you use?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Do you have 6 toes
Pantene.
on any of your feet?
No.
Any of your feet? Like you might have more than 2. And now that you're a member of the show, they can ask you questions.
Oh, great.
And if the thread is up over at cgspodcast.com/forum, followed by the number 2. If you don't want to register over there, feel free to send us an email, justanotherfanboy@gmail.com, or call into the voice line. Just ask your questions.
The answer to every question is 42.
Oh, throwing out a little bit of the geek.
See? That's what I've learned something
Throwing
from being married to you.
Throwing a little geek out
There
at
you
us.
go.
So
42.
I would also, per my list, one of our faithful listeners, DeFixer3000.
Yeah.
He's got his own podcast.
Right on. Did you know this?
Yeah.
Oh.
I've downloaded the first 4 episodes. I'm only about partway through episode number 1, but it's just him and his boys sitting around talking comics.
The boys?
Yeah. It's called DeFixer's Hideout, and you can find it at defixer.com. That's DAFIXER.com. So check him out.
How many has he, have they done?
I don't know how many he has out as of today, but I know that when I
Less than you?
Well, yeah, he just
started.
Yeah, he just started.
Right on.
So, and he didn't.
You must have inspired him.
I doubt it. I don't inspire anybody.
I inspired him.
That's right. So we started a little late tonight.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah, but you were also sitting on the couch reading.
Yes, I was.
What
This
were
is
you-
becoming a problem.
You were reading Jeff Smith's Bone, the first volume out from Boneville.
Yeah,
Which
finished it up, sat down and finished it up again just a while ago.
is lickety split. What'd you think of it?
Very cute. I'm into it.
I love it.
Now I just am upset that there's more. And you said you have the second one?
I have the second
We
one
don't
around
have
here
any
somewhere.
more. Well, you have to use the rest of your gift card on me.
This is actually the colorized version. It was originally black and white,
Oh, yeah?
and then
That
Scholastic.
could be totally doable. Scholastic.
Yeah, Scholastic released.
Reading. Everybody's doing it.
They're releasing colorized versions. So I have the first 2 of the color. I also have the first 2 of the black and white version. So if I can't
But
find,
either way, you're not getting me past the second one. And if I finish this one in an hour and a half.
well, they actually have released a 1-volume edition, which is like 1,300 some odd pages of all 10 volumes or something.
Yeah,
all
that'd be a
in-
little too overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
to
Well,
even
it's
look
probably
at.
a lot cheaper than going out and buying all 10 volumes.
Okay, whatever we have to do, fine.
Well, I'm just saying.
Whatever.
But you enjoyed it.
I did. Look at me.
All ages.
Look at me.
Kid friendly.
I have noticed that. It's very,
Whereas Pride of Baghdad
clean
last
and-
week is not recommended for all ages.
no.
It's not an all ages book, but this one definitely is.
Yeah.
This is one that Simon
Could read to him.
Could read in a couple of years.
Yeah.
He'd like it.
It's cute.
If-
I like it.
If you have not read,
What's happening to me? Somebody get me a Cosmo quick. And I don't mean the drink. I mean the magazine. or a TV guide will be fine. Just something that's not,
Well-
what's happening?
for those
What
of
are you going to do for me?
What am
You
I
didn't
gonna
clean the ceiling fans.
do? I vacuumed.
That's right, you did.
I vacuumed.
That's right. Good man.
Yay.
Okay, well.
So for those of you out there who have not read Bone, I suggest picking it up. Like I said, there's a 1-volume edition out there that was probably going to be a lot cheaper than purchasing all 8 or 10 volumes that are out there, but go for it.
Is it hardback or softback? Like,
I think it's softback. The
but
1
it's
volume.
that many pages. I can't imagine
I can't imagine either, but
how you hold it and read it. I mean, well, that's a big book. So I don't know. We could probably find that at like a half price
probably
secondhand bookstore or something, maybe.
Probably.
Because you get me started on something and then you say, oh yeah, and by the way, this is cliffhanger. And
I warned you. I gave you 2 options tonight.
Yeah,
which was
you
Bone
did.
and Identity Crisis.
Yeah, but when I read one of those, it feels less like a comic book.
Well, yeah.
It's look like a book.
Well, and it almost...
And those look more like comic books.
Because for the casual reader picking this up, they might...
And that would make me a nerd. I'm not quite ready for that yet.
But for the casual reader, just picking this up and flipping through it for the first time, it's probably going to be... They're probably going to be reminded more of like the Sunday funnies in their Sunday paper.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. But I tell you, once you actually get through the whole story, there's so much to it. It's just a really good read.
Well, bring it on, because now I've finished it up.
We're bringing it on.
Here we go. The downfall of my soul.
Maybe in a few weeks we can get a superhero comic in you or something.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll talk.
There's got to be lots of stuff out there, and I don't feel like I should have to be not forced, but maybe intimidated into reading something that just wouldn't be my style anyway, just because it's a comic book.
I agree. I think you'd like Identity Crisis just for the story, not because it's a superhero comic. I think the story, even though it involves superheroes, is it's a mystery.
Yeah, I remember when you were reading it, because you'd keep saying, oh, you got to look at this page. This guy, look what he's saying. Look at the look on his face.
It's very dramatic.
Like his wife, somebody's
dies. It's all
like,
it's mainly about one of the characters' wife dying and them trying to figure out who did it. And, it's really good.
I'm watching Oprah. Get me to commercial. I'm not really looking at you.
Oh, Oprah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. So I brought in this thing tonight. My company newsletter. Actually, it's my department's newsletter.
Yeah, it reminds me very much of my junior high monthly newspaper, which was just mimeographed. And I mean that back in the day, 5 or 6 mimeographed of who's dating who. And
yeah, it's pretty
kind
funny.
of cheesy.
But, the dude I work with, who's also into comics, they put this out once a month, and it's like 6 or 7 pages, and it's got bits of information about the department and the company in general, but it's also got non-work related stuff in here.
Like a lot of it.
Yeah, what I'm going to talk about here, which is, he does, this friend of mine.
Oh, is that him?
That's him.
You talk about Craig all the time.
Yeah. Craig does normally a top 5 list.
And there's a picture
month.
of him.
Yeah, looking funny.
Does he always wear sunglasses?
No.
Is his future so bright he's got to wear shades?
He wears his sunglasses at night.
Yeah. Oh, man. I miss the good old music.
He does a top 5 every month, and they're usually stuff like his top 5 Star Wars movies.
Oh, my.
Even though there were 6. And his top 5 video game franchises, blah, blah, blah. But this last month, for the month of March, he actually did a top 10. And as he says, because 5 just doesn't cut it. Craig's top 10 comic book movies.
Mm-hmm.
And he asked me for my assistance on this.
Did he now?
And
I don't see a credit in there.
No, he doesn't credit me. But we took a Saturday.
He's fired.
Going over the list. And we nailed down a list. Well, first we nailed down a list of 5. And then he's like, all right, well, I'm going to go ahead and submit this. And then boom, one of us think of another movie. And then we think of another. Oh, we got to put that in there. We got to put that in there. And so it came down to 10. And there's still movies in here that I don't know.
Well, these are numbered from 1 to 10 rather than from 10 to 1.
Yeah.
So should we actually read it from 10 to 1?
Okay.
Because
let me give you Craig's top 10. And the reason I bring this up is because what I'd like to do is maybe for the next couple weeks.
But 1 is the best and 10 is the least.
Yes.
Okay. So it's backwards.
Yeah, and I'm not going to give you my top 10 because I think what I'd like to do is maybe for episode 35, I'm asking everyone to submit their top 10 comic book movies.
How many have there been?
There's actually been quite a few.
Okay.
That's why we had such a hard time. But let me read you Craig's.
It's like the Smurfs movie count for that? Oh no, they weren't. They were a cartoon, not a comic book.
But I'll read you Craig's, and I'll reveal mine in episode 35. And I'm asking everybody to send me theirs, and we'll devote most of episode 35 to comic book movies, and then maybe we can start getting these movies. And
how much do you want from me, honey?
When we go through this list, you're gonna. I'm
gonna make you watch Little Women again.
I'll watch Little Women. I am a fan of the movies.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So, Greg's top 10
Whatever.
list. Number 10, The Shadow. This had Alec Baldwin in it as The Shadow. Great movie. That was one of mine.
Okay, well, I can't watch that.
Why not? You don't like Alec Baldwin?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, anytime there's a celebrity couple that has a conflict or a split, I can't help it. I have to take sides. And it's not always with the woman, but, it's like we'll never watch another Tom Cruise movie in this house as long as I'm alive.
Well, that's fine, because I'm not a big fan of Tom Cruise either.
Anymore.
Number 9.
So that's why I can't watch that one. Okay, sorry, next.
Number 9, I'm switching into my Beatles White Album mode. Number 9.
Okay, I don't know what
Number
that means,
9.
for it.
There's some Beatles fans out there that are getting that.
Okay.
Number 9 is Hellboy.
Yeah.
Ron Perlman is a Hellboy.
I
watched
like
that.
him. So
yeah.
I did watch that.
You watched that.
I liked it.
You were like, eh.
It was okay.
Number 8, American Splendor. I've never actually seen that one, so. Number 7 is the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie from 1990.
That was a comic book?
Yeah.
Oh.
Originally started as a comic book. Did
not know that.
It was a indie book that was primarily written as a joke. Not a joke per se, but a kind of poking fun at Frank Miller's Daredevil run back in the day. And it, well, as we know, it's hugely popular.
Okay.
Number 6, Sin City.
Yeah, I don't think I watched that. You and Abby watched it.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
Great movie. I know a lot of people who aren't into comic books, who have never read the comic book, watch it, and they're just like, it's kind of cheesy. But it's very,
supposed to be.
Yeah, it's very much like the comic.
Comic books are cheesy.
Yeah. Number 5, which is another one that I put in there, and one that I'm amazed that he stuck in there. And a lot of people are going to go, when I say this, Judge Dredd. Sylvester Stallone.
Oh.
I am the law. That movie was awesome. I don't care what anybody says. Judge Dredd was awesome.
Okay, well, that's got to be borderline because I'm not sure how I feel about him right now because of the whole bringing the. Well, if you're into celebrity gossip news, there's the whole he was arrested or charged with bringing, I
have no idea.
Muscle enhancing drugs or something into Australia without permission or something.
Sly.
So he's, So until I figure out how that pans out and, what that says about his character as a person, just, then I'll let you know about that one. Okay, next.
Number 4, he put in here, which is not a comic book.
No, it's not.
It's The Incredibles.
Yeah.
But
it's the best movie of all time.
Well, it's an awesome movie. And his idea behind it was, even though it wasn't originally a comic book, I think it is a good.
It's superhero-y.
It's a great superhero movie.
It is. I could watch that over and over and over again.
Number 3.
And I have.
Yeah.
Not by choice, but
Simon likes
it's the one
movie.
I can actually tolerate listening to over and over again in one day.
Number 3, Men in Black. That was a comic book.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay. And you said Men in Black 1.
Yes, the first one.
Okay.
He didn't care for the second one. I thought the second one was awesome. Number 2, this is where.
Now I want to do the dance.
Yeah.
Men in Black.
This is where he and I got into a big argument.
Did you have to throw down?
We almost
Cowtown?
threw down because I felt this one needed to be number 1. This is the original 1978 Richard Donner, Superman.
Okay, yeah.
This should be up top. But of course, what he puts as number 1, which is of course his favorite comic book movie of all time, Batman Begins.
Yeah, well, out of those two, I thought Batman Begins rocked.
You liked the Batman Begins.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I loved that. I love backstory kind of stuff. So,
I'm quite surprised when I watch a comic book movie with you and you actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
like,
some you can appreciate just for the movie
well, like,
itself.
what was that? V for Vendetta. I rented it, and the guy with the mask, the white.
Oh, yeah.
I rented it, and we sat down to watch it, and 15 minutes into it, we had to pause it for some reason, and you stood up and you said, "You're lucky." I'm lucky. You're lucky. I thought this movie was going to suck.
Oh, did I do that?
Yeah.
And sweet little me.
And then you kneed me in the groin. I don't know what that was all about.
Just a reflex.
Reflex, yeah.
Reflex.
So. Now, he didn't include...
we're making a lot of 80s references.
He didn't... The reflex. Okay. The one...
Should we jump up and do the safety dance?
Nobody would be able to see us.
So they'll know what we're doing, because I'm doing it right now, at least with my arms.
I'll tell you,
now
the safety dance... The safety dance, was that Biodome you're thinking of?
We've got that somewhere.
I'm going to go on record here saying, even though you're going to disagree with me, Biodome was a horrible movie. However...
Joe versus Volcano was the greatest movie of all time. Why are we talking about this?
But I just could not help, but I rolled off the couch on that scene when they're doing the safety dance.
You thought it was a terrible movie, but you liked that part.
I liked that scene.
I liked the whole movie.
Yeah. So anyway, the one or two movies he did not include in the list at all, Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2.
Oh, yeah.
What's his problem? He's not a big Marvel fan, first of all.
Does he have some kind of...
He didn't include in the X-Men movies.
Kind of thing?
Which...
Is he a little jealous of the Spidey?
He doesn't like the Marvel too much, but he didn't include the X-Men movies. He wasn't a big fan of the X-Men movies. Me.
Oh yeah, I think I tried to watch one with you and I didn't.
Another one that came up that
freaked me out.
I felt needed to be in the list, but he never put it in, was Mystery Men. Ben Stiller, Janine Garofalo playing the bowler.
Well, I like her. I like him.
Hank Azaria.
Like him.
Will Studi.
Huh?
Oh,
You will what?
Oh, now I can't think of the guys. William H. Macy, the shoveler.
Okay.
He's awesome in that movie.
Huh.
You've seen it. You probably just don't remember.
I don't know. I'm thinking maybe that was a little thing in a recent Wizard magazine that Simon was. Is the shoveler a bad guy?
No.
Oh, well, maybe not.
No, it's a good guy.
Okay. Simon won't let me call Spider-Man Spidey.
I know.
That's
the thing.
We were putting a Spider-Man shirt on him the other day. I said, there you go. Get your Spidey shirt. No, not Spidey. That's Spider-Man. I said, yeah, but we can call him Spidey. He goes by Spidey. No, that's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
I'll have to rent some Spider-Man cartoons so he can hear Spider-Man's friends refer to him as Spidey.
They call it Spidey, not Spidey strength. Spidey power?
Spidey sense.
Spidey sense.
Spider sense. Spidey sense, yeah. So.
Okay, I'm getting a little wacky.
We had some wildlife in the house the other day.
Oh, gosh. Literally.
Yesterday, was it?
Yeah, just yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, how time flies. Flies. It was a bird.
The kids were taking a nap, and Simon happens to get up and walk in. And
we were sitting on the couch watching some TV, a movie or something.
And I looked up and said very calmly, "There's a bird in the house."
And I thought for some reason, because Simon was walking into the room at that moment, that, okay, because he walked in quietly. Simon's a bird, and I looked at him and said, "What? No,
there is a freaking bird
in the house." And I said, "What do you mean? There's a bird in the house." It got a little more, a little more forceful and,
it's like a starling
about it. Yeah, I don't know what it was, but it landed on the cedar chest, and then Simon's like, "Oh, a bird. I'm out of here." And he dashed out back to his room for safety. And then the darn little thing started flying around, and ceiling fans were going. I was afraid we were going to have a big old mess to have to clean up if it got bonked into one of those things. But
we got it out.
Yeah,
got the broom
I had to
out.
use a broom. It didn't hit it or anything.
Nope.
But just kind of guided it out the open door. That was wild.
Yeah.
And I don't want anybody saying anything about superstitions because I don't want to hear it because that's just bad.
Is there a superstition
yes,
about birds?
Yes, there is. I'm not going to even mention it.
As down on our luck as we've been, that's probably a good thing.
What?
I don't know. Maybe for us, it's a good thing that the bird of happiness.
Yeah.
The bird of paradise.
The bird.
May it fly up your nose.
But yeah, we had wildlife in the house. Have just like this, not a tiny hole in our screen, but a smallish hole in the screen door. And it was a beautiful day yesterday. The temperatures have dropped here dramatically in the last 24 hours. It was like in the 80s yesterday. So we had some fresh air blowing in, and it blew in a little bird.
Little bird. And of course we get it out and I go back to Simon's room And he's just kind of sitting on his bed with this very
serious
look on his face.
Look.
And I said, all right, buddy, well, it's time to take a nap, but there is a bird in the house.
Yes, there was.
I said, yes, there is, but I got
He's
it out.
gone.
Yeah.
You can tell what you bought him, his new little
He
toy.
got a new action figure, the Rhino from the Spider-Man Origins. And actually that brings up a good point.
Oh, it does.
Because up until this point, all the action figures we've been buying him are the Justice League animated action figures, because he's really into the Justice League.
Yeah.
And
he doesn't really know anything else.
well, this is true. He knows the Rhino primarily because of the new Spider-Man poster we have up in his room.
Oh,
It has the Rhino
I'd
on
never
it.
heard of it before.
So he saw the Rhino at Walmart yesterday, and I had to get it for him.
Okay.
But
he doesn't want to sleep with it because it's too scary.
it's kind of scary, apparently.
He'll play with it during the day, but I'm not taking that thing to bed.
It's kind of a crappy action figure.
Well, one of his shoulder armor came off, popped off accidentally, and then it was no fun anymore and just like threw it on the floor. I said, how about if I take the other one off? That way, because with his variety of autism, if there's one piece of something missing, it ain't good anymore. Forget a missing puzzle piece, the whole puzzle. I mean, it gets ugly. So I popped off both of the shoulder arm, the second one, and then he was okay with it again. It was even and balanced.
Is that autism, or does he get that from me? Because if you remember, I had that Honda that lost a hubcap.
Yeah.
And to even it out, I took the hubcap off. Well, no, I kept the two on the back, but I took the one off of the, because it came off the driver's side, so I took the one off the passenger side front.
That balanced it out.
Because it balanced it out.
Yeah, but maybe he does get that from you.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
A lot of people pointed out, well, why didn't you just take it off the backside on the same side?
Yeah, that way.
If you look at it on one side, it's got
sense.
hubcaps, but if you look at it from the other side, it doesn't. And I thought,
because you're just white and nerdy.
It just didn't feel
you're a little
even.
too white and nerdy.
Just didn't feel even to me.
Okay.
So, all right, but yeah, the Rhino action figure's crap.
Oh,
I didn't enjoy it.
Not just because of the.
No, not just
I'm
because
sorry.
of that.
I distracted you.
I think I just peed my pants.
Have a couple babies, then let's talk about that.
These Justice League action figures, and even the action figures I bought as a child, because we've still got some of my, for those of you old school fanboys, my Secret Wars action figures. I've got the Iron Man and the Captain America. And they are, pretty much solid pieces of plastic. Mm-hmm. The legs and the arms, of course, come off and whatnot, but they're solid. And same with the Justice League action figures. We get out of Walmart, we get into the van, and of course, he wants me to open up the box.
Yes, and these days, getting any toy out of the box
good
takes
Lord, it's got all these
minutes, all the
freaking wire twisty ties all over. And I get it open and I pull it out, and it's light as a feather. I mean, it's a hollow action figure, and I just wah wah wah. I was very disappointed.
Yeah.
And I'm not an action figure guy. There's a lot of guys who collect comics and also collect action figures.
Yeah, but he was saying something today about how Daddy wanted it.
No.
He said he had something. Oh, what did he say?
I wanted him to get the Transformer.
He said he wanted a wizard.
A wizard?
That's what he said. Maybe he said lizard.
No, they had a lizard action figure up there, too.
Okay, well, that's what he wanted.
I guess I did kind of steer
You talked him into the Rhino and he wanted the lizard.
No.
Yes, he did.
He's lying to you. I'm going to go drag him out of bed right now.
He said Daddy wanted.
No.
I said, oh, yeah, what did you want? The lizard.
You're going to believe the 4-year-old?
Yes. I can just see going, oh, come on, Simon.
Well,
it's the Rhino. He's really cool. Look, don't you want it? No, I want the lizard. No, you want this. Let's go.
No.
I know you.
I kind of steered him towards, he looked at them both and he liked them both because frankly, he picked up the Rhino first and I said, oh, but here's the lizard. And he was like, oh, the wizard. And he was looking at it and he, like he couldn't decide between the two. And I said, well, let's get the Rhino. Cause my thought behind it was, the Rhino is big and stocky.
Yeah.
This is a tough action figure that's going to be hard to break.
Huh.
The lizard is thin and wiry. It's got a long tail and it's got thin arms and, he's going to snap those pieces off pretty easy. But, so he gets the Rhino and it's crap too. I wanted him to get the Transformer.
Yeah.
He had a Transformer first.
Transformer.
Or the Spider Spud. The Darth Tater. They now have one for Spider-Man.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's cool.
We'll have to get one of those.
It's just a regular old Mr. Potato Head, but it actually has a fabric Spider-Man costume.
No.
You pull over it. Yeah,
okay, well.
It's cool.
We got to get that.
He didn't want that, though.
He didn't?
No.
Okay, well.
So I had to smack him around.
Yeah. He's a good boy.
Okay. Anything else you want to talk about before we get into the news?
You know, all week long, some things come to my mind, and I'm like, oh, I can mention that, or that's worth talking about. And then by Tuesday night, you know, I haven't written anything down because of course I'm going to remember it because it's interesting. But I don't have anything.
Get a little notepad and a pen. Or
yeah, I don't want to be
like
that nerdy about it.
Chalkboard that you wear around your neck with a piece of chalk tied to it.
Oh, yeah. Notes.
Yeah.
Well, I really can't. I'm sure there were things going on in the world of one way or another that I would discuss or something with the kids, but I can't. It's not coming to mind.
Yeah.
Darn it. Darn it.
Nothing coming to mind for
No. You got nothing?
All right. Well, nothing that I'm not going to discuss later when we get to that topic. So.
Oh, okay.
All right. So let's do news and information you could have easily gotten for yourself with just a little effort. Oh, you know what? I should probably say this is normally where we do listeners' feedback.
Yes, but right now we're going to do news and information you could have easily gotten for yourself with just a little effort.
I'm tossing it like a salad this week.
That's a bad reference.
Well, that's not how I mean it, though.
Okay, I know. Well, I know you.
I'm shifting stuff around.
There are people out there who have dirty minds.
Well, that's their problem.
That's right.
All right, let's do some news.
Okay, let's do it.
Cue the music. This week's news and information you could have easily gotten for yourself with just a little effort is brought to you by the law offices of Smith, Johnson, Johnson, Smith, Johnson, and Shamalama Ding Dong. Have you ever broken a leg while attempting to break into an apartment building located on the 3rd floor of a ritzy apartment complex? Have you ever sliced up your knuckles while punching in the driver's side window of a motorist who took their favorite parking spot? Do you feel like you're due a little compensation? Well, why not call the law offices of Smith, Johnson, Johnson, Smith, Johnson, and Shamalama Ding Dong. They take the cases no one else is willing to take because, like you, they just want to get paid. The law offices of Smith, Johnson, Johnson, Smith, Johnson, and Shamalama Ding Dong. Doing their best to get you what you deserve. Cold, hard cash. Never call between the hours of 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. This year marks 25 years since Hasbro introduced the legendary G.I. Joe vs. Cobra storyline. And to commemorate the anniversary, Devil's Due Publishing Incorporated has commissioned artist Chris Lee to draw an unbelievable wraparound cover featuring every well-remembered and loved G.I. Joe team member from the past 25 years. G.I. Joe America's Elite number 25 begins a new 12-issue story arc written by Mark Powers titled World War III, featuring G.I. Joe Sins of the Mother artist Mike Bair. Issue number 25 is available July 4th, 2007, and contains 9 extra pages of content, including a fold-out poster of the cover and special bonus features. And this makes me angry.
Why?
Because I want to pick it up.
Okay. What? I don't understand.
I can't afford it.
Oh.
I can't afford to add new. If I want to add a new title, I got to drop an old title.
Okay,
Yeah.
I get it now.
When I got back into comics after like a 10-year stint, away, one of the first things I picked up was this new G.I. Joe America's Elite from Devil's Due, and I ended up dropping it because I needed to drop a title, and I was enjoying it to a certain extent, but I found that I was enjoying the fact more that I was getting G.I. Joe more than I was enjoying the story. So I stopped getting it. And then from what I understand, it started getting really good.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry.
G.I. Joe is from my childhood. It was the first comic I ever bought from
That'd be like my first Sean Cassidy album.
Oh my God.
That was the first album I ever bought. Not that that says anything about me, really. But that's pretty cool that it comes out on
July 4th.
That's pretty neat.
Okay, next we got that's Neato Keen. That's cool beans. New York City celebrates Spider-Man Week. New York is busy prepping for a celebration to mark the opening of Spider-Man 3. It's a week-long series of events running from April 30th through May 6th.
That could be cool.
Yeah, and some of the things they got lined up is on Monday, April 30th, the Today Show team welcomes Tobey Maguire and the cast of Spider-Man 3. Join them on Peter Parker Place, which is Rockefeller Plaza. But for the week, it'll be called Peter Parker Place. For marching bands, web slinger showdowns, giveaways, and other festive surprises. At the Brooklyn Children's Museum, take a trek around the world to learn about spiders. Weave a dazzling web, hear Navajo spider folktales, and create a colorful comic book. Also, marvel at the museum's very own Chilean tarantula.
Ew.
Another thing they have lined up is Tour the Big Apple, Peter Parker style, with 2 webbed double-decker buses. Hop on and off attractions made famous by Spider-Man 1 and 2, sneak peeks at sites from Spider-Man 3. Buses depart every 10 minutes at 50 locations citywide. And both the Bronx and Central Park zoos will have fun spider-themed activities for the kids all week long.
Wow. Only New York City, man.
Yeah. Well, that's Spider-Man's hometown. That's his town.
That's pretty cool.
You can check out all the planned events at SpiderManWeekNYC.com, and there is a dash between Spider and Man. If you're looking that up. Spider-ManWeekNYC.com. Can we go to New York?
That?
No.
I think I'd have some kind of an anxiety attack from the crowds at a gathering like that.
Probably.
Probably not the time to go to New York if you have just like the crowds of people that you don't know. But it sounds like a lot of fun. Lucky the kids that live there, you know?
Yeah.
They're going to have a blast. I bet Kelly Ripa's kids will be there.
Probably. Okay, so I put this next one in for you.
Oh, really?
Archie Comics news.
Archie.
Can it be so? Is Archie really 65 years old? You bet!
You're kidding me.
You bet! The saga of everyone's favorite comic book teen began way back in December 1941 with Archie's very first story in Pep Comics number 22. A mere year after his auspicious debut, the Red-Headed Wonder was awarded his own title with Archie Comics number 1 in the winter of 1942. Now, 65 years later, the Archie characters remain one of the longest-running groups of continuously published characters of all time. Now, in tribute to Archie's longevity, this special issue of Archie Digest pays tribute to Archie's illustrious past by reprinting Archie's very first adventures from Pep Comics number 22 and Archie Comics number 1. Yeah, I'm not going to read the whole thing. Archie Digest number 236 ships July 4th, the same day as G.I. Joe number 25.
Well, might as well. All American hero stuff.
Full color digest format, $2.49. Scripts and art, blah, blah, blah. So.
Because up there it says, truly, Archie and his friends are a cherished American institution.
They really are.
It's a great institution.
Yeah.
And who wants to be institutionalized?
This is true. And on DVD this week, The Good Shepherd. That's all I had.
Yeah, I didn't see anything on the list again that sparked my interest. Gosh darn it.
Slow week.
I got to get out more or something. Nothing.
Well, that was your news and information you could have easily gotten for yourself with just a little effort.
There you go.
So I guess that means it's time for my comic book picks of the week.
Hooray! I can hardly wait.
This week's picks, I got 2 of them for you. I just this weekend, got my new shipment of books in.
Hooray, hooray.
The mail. Let me just run down what I got.
These came in the mail?
Well.
This is the box that was delivered to the door.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
We've got, this is for the last 2 weeks of March. We got 52.
You know, that guy actually knocks on the door and hands them to me.
Yeah, that's pretty slick.
They're the,
DHL.
Yeah.
pretty slick.
Yeah, they'll just leave it there. Because it was kind of a rainy day, I think.
Yeah.
I thought, well, very nice.
Yeah.
Should have given him a tip or something.
But this week, the books I picked up were 52 weeks 46.
Don't eat yellow snow.
No, that's a nice
my tip.
Yeah, I'm sure he gets that.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm sure he'd be like, yeah, thank you.
Oh.
Anyway, and this shipment was 52 weeks 46 and 47 from DC Comics. Brave and the Bold #2 from DC Comics, which was an awesome issue, but it's not one of my picks.
Sounds like a soap opera.
Green Lantern #18, which I didn't enjoy all that much. Okay. Action Comics #847. Batman #664. Daredevil #95. And this week's picks, Amazing Spider-Man #539 and Justice Society of America #4. Next week, I think what I'm going to talk about is Action Comics #847 and Daredevil #95. So if you've read them and would like to comment on them, get them in by next Tuesday. But we start off with Marvel Comics, The Amazing Spider-Man #539, Back in Black. This starts off the whole Back in Black event.
I dare you to sing it.
No,
okay,
I can't
fine.
sing it. That's the Bullpen Bulletins podcast, which is an all Marvel podcast for the last month. Every time one of them mentions the Back in Black, it's like, it's coming because they'll start to talk about it. And in the background, you hear this, because that's how the song starts. And then they'll say, and this is the Back in Black. Then bam. And then song starts in. It's like, all right, whatever.
So they've already got that covered.
Yeah, they've got that covered.
Okay.
They're doing a wonderful job.
Keep up the good work.
But this is Back in Black, Part 1 of 5, written by J. Michael Straczynski, penciled by Ron Garney. Inks is done by Bill Reinhold. The colorist is Matt Milla. The letterer is Virtual Calligraphy's Corey Petit. Michael O'Connor is the assistant editor, and Axel Alonso is the editor.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
Sure.
From somebody who doesn't know stuff, what's the difference in the process between pencils and inks?
Well, pencils are laid. You draw the book in pencils,
right?
And then an inker goes in afterwards and goes over it in inks to.
Why wouldn't that just be the same person?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Some pencilers do ink their own stuff. Some don't. They, inkers are more adept at, basically turning it into that black and white, the thick black line, or giving it more definition, more shadow where shadow needs to be and whatnot.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll notice when I look at previews online, I'll see a penciled page, then I'll see it inked. Mm-hmm. Sometimes inking makes it look worse. Sometimes it makes it look better. It just depends on the team you've got on it. But then there was that whole joke, if you remember the movie Chasing Amy, they called him
Tracer.
Yeah, he was a tracer.
Right.
So, and I'm sure the inkers love that.
Yeah, why don't they just ink it to start with? Because then they can't erase.
Yeah, they can't.
Make a mistake.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they necessarily erase, but when they pencil, it's really rough. If you ever look at penciled pages, it's very rough. It's a lot of scratchy, it's hard to describe.
Like the way a fashion designer sketches out a design or something. Okay.
Yeah. And then the inker will go in and make the shape more defined.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Now we all know something else, and knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe.
There you go.
Awesome, honey.
Thank you.
I'll have to get me some G.I. Joe from the Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Amazing Spider-Man #539. This was a very dark book. Spider-Man got me into comics.
Yes.
Okay. Spider-Man was the first superhero I really ever remember.
I thought you said G.I. Joe got you into comics.
No, G.I. Joe was the first comic I bought.
Oh, okay.
So I should say Spider-Man got me into superheroes.
Okay.
When I was a young lad seeing Spider-Man on the Electric Company. And, so I've always
no greater superhero than our American fighting men and women, like G.I. Joe.
Well, yes.
Just had to say that.
But I've always had a soft spot in my heart for the Spider-Man. And when I started buying comics again a few years back, I bought all the Spider-Man titles that were available and one by one dropped them like a hot brick.
Oh, yeah?
Because they weren't, I don't know. I wasn't enjoying them too much.
Okay.
And then they put Spider-Man in the New Avengers, and I thought, well, I'll just get my Spider-Man from the New Avengers, and I was really enjoying that.
But then they bring Spider-Man back into his black costume, which he wore back in the 80s for a while. And so I thought this is a good time to jump back in. I've always liked the black costume. Again, this is a very dark book. Basically what you've got in the previous issue, Spider-Man now has revealed his identity to the world. Everybody knows that Peter Parker now is Spider-Man. They held a press conference. Everybody knows. The Kingpin of Crime strikes back at Spider-Man, an old villain of Spider-Man, strikes back by hiring a sniper to kill Spider-Man, Mary Jane, and Aunt May.
Cold-hearted son of a gun.
Aunt May's the only one that gets hit.
Oh, well, great.
So Peter takes her to the hospital, and then he's now on a vendetta to, as he puts it, kill the people that have tried to kill his Aunt May. And to portray that mood, I guess, that he's in, he puts on the black costume.
Yeah.
Now, the issue itself was fairly, it was good if you can ignore some of the obvious and glaring continuity errors within the book. The prime example being Spider-Man referring to Aunt May, her maiden name is Fitzgerald, which everybody who's been reading Spider-Man comics knows that her maiden name is Riley, unless they've changed it and nobody told me. But if you can get, it was a mistake, obviously, that the writer must have made.
Continuity issues. Hate it. In movies, TV, hate it.
Editor didn't catch, I guess. The art is really good. I've never been a real big fan of the Ron Garney, but he stepped it up in this issue. He has a style that's kind of reminiscent of the John Romita Jr. But yeah, ultimately there's a lot of really good scenes in here of Spider-Man fighting some of the bad guys just dressed in
out of costume at all.
In a polo shirt, which
Cool.
doesn't really strike a fear into the hearts of men. But it was a good issue.
Cool though.
I'm going to be on for the 5 series arc and hope that it picks up. The Spider-Man I remember.
The blue men.
Yes.
They scare me.
The Spider-Man I remember, was always had his troubles, always had his problems. But he always, I don't know, he always had a joke to tell. He always had a smile. But he's
he's ticked off.
And I understand that. I do. And that's why I'm sticking around for the 5 issues. And
Because he'll come around.
Yeah, we'll see if it picks up. It was good.
Something good always comes out of something bad. I admit by that.
I definitely ended the book wanting to read the second one. So it did its job.
That's good.
And that's just a great shot there right at the very end. He's finally got the black costume back on. I'm like, yay, yay.
Yeah.
Because 2 things I've been saying since I got back into comics is A, I want to see Spider-Man back in the black costume, and I want to see the new universe back. And Marvel's done it both for me, baby. So thank you, Joe Quesada. I love you.
All right.
All right. So next up, we've got Justice Society of America
That's
number
all dark
4.
Too. I mean, literally.
Well,
all black and stuff.
Yeah, it's a painted cover by Alex Ross.
That's kind of cool.
Justice Society of America is...
To you too.
Say hello to the cat, if you heard that. Justice Society of America. Here we go.
Okay, don't come here.
This is the Next Age Chapter 4, written by Jeff Johns, penciled by Dale Eaglesham. The inker is Roy Jose. Letterer is Rob Lay. Colors by Jeremy Cox. Covers by Alex Ross, Dale Eaglesham, and Roy Jose. The assistant editor is Adam Schlagman, and the editor is Eddie Berganza. Justice Society was not a title that I previously bought. I have been catching up on Justice Society of America through trades.
Okay, let me look.
And when issue number 1 came out, I thought, well, hey, I like the Jeff Johns. This is a good chance for me to jump in on this book, and have loved it ever since. This is probably one of my top 3 books. It's the one I look forward to every single month of, I guess the 4 so far that it's come out. But basically what you've got going here in these first 4 issues is the Justice Society of America is getting back together, and these Nazi superheroes.
I was going to say this. He's got a swastika.
Yeah.
I can't even say that word.
Swastika
on his chest. That's not cool.
Nazi superheroes are out killing family members of the Justice Society.
They're
And
not superheroes, they're super villains.
yes.
Okay, well, let's get that
Did I
clarified.
say heroes?
Yeah, I think you did.
I need a Percocet. I haven't actually taken one in a few days.
You're doing okay.
But, and honestly, again, I think this is a book you'd like.
Me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you would.
I don't know.
Well, of course, you're looking at the final issue here, the final few pages of the final issue of the
smell
arc.
funny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but they smell funny. They don't smell like a new magazine. They smell like, I don't know.
But Justice Society of America is very well written. It's beautifully drawn. Dale Eaglesham does just a great job of emoting, these expressions on some of these characters' faces. And Hawkman has got to be I've liked the Hawkman, but frankly, after reading these first few issues, Hawkman is quickly becoming one of my favorite characters because he kicks a lot of booty in these 4 issues. But if you like,
that's a neat picture. Simon would like this double page.
yes, because he'd want to know everybody's
standing
names.
around the table like that.
Yeah.
He would really dig that.
If you like books, team books, you'll probably like the Justice Society. They're much more of a family than just your average old superhero team that just only gets together to fight the bad guys and then go their separate ways. They're very much
Well, let me hand these back to you before I go and throw them in another
Stick them in water
ring on the table.
So
Sorry about that.
Those were my comic book picks of the week. All right. So I guess we can shoot on to some listeners' feedback, you think?
Let's do.
You feel like it? Feel up to it?
Let's.
Okay.
Shall we?
Ready? I'm gonna do my voice.
Okay.
Listeners' feedback.
Okay. We've only got a couple items for you this week. And I wanted to put it at the end because I was listening to last week's episode, and like I told you earlier before we started recording, you all weren't privy to this. But, we were like, an hour into the episode before we ended listeners' feedback, before we got into the news and stuff. So I wanted to stick this at the end. I'll just
Still playing around with things.
Yeah,
Still
we're just
working it out.
throwing some stuff around, coming up with some ideas. But we'll go with the first email. This was not an email. This is a post over at the Just Another Fanboy forum at cgspodcast.com/forum2.
And now that's like one of those sites that I go to every day, a couple times a day.
Well, yeah.
I'm getting to be such a nerd.
So this was posted by mguy1977. And he said, I listened to your podcast for the first 15 episodes, and it was okay, but nothing that made it unique, so I dropped it. After seeing your show again on the Comics Podcast Network, I decided to give it another try. I was so happy to get on the Comics Podcast Network, and this is one of the reasons why. You and your wife make a great team on the show. So in my book, you guys went to VF-, which I think is very fine, minus, to NM+, near mint plus.
That's awesome.
That's a comics grading system. Thanks for waiting a month on your reviews of titles because I get my books from DCBS on a monthly basis, usually, so that helps it not get spoiled before I read a certain title. We have similar tastes in titles from Superman titles, Criminal, Punisher War Journal, JLA, and JSA, among many others. I feel the no-con blues too, Steven, because unless it is in Alexandria or Baton Rouge or maybe Mobile, Alabama, or is it Mobile? Sorry. Mobile, Alabama, where I was from originally, I will miss out on cons also, so do not feel too bad. Thanks for the pop culture references. Are always a good thing on a podcast. Thanks for the podcast, Matthew. All right.
That is good. That was very nice.
And I want to say, as far as the con, I got the day off, so I should be going to the con in Kansas City.
I am so happy for you. So. Just don't come back with a bunch of weird stuff.
No. I think the one thing it's been years.
You should take David.
Maybe
you and David should definitely go together.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh,
it's been years.
Bonding kind of thing.
It's been years since I've been to a con, but from what I remember, they don't take the credit cards, and we don't tend to carry cash, so I probably won't be spending a lot of money there. Though there are a couple of books I am definitely going to be looking for, and cons are a great place to find books that you just can't find.
Cool.
Okay. This next one is another post from the board. It's from Jay Cargith. He says, in reference to last week's episode, I have been reading comics steadily since 1996, and I probably didn't know how to properly read word balloons until a couple of years ago. This is
in reference to me stating that I was having trouble with that.
Got to come a little bit closer to the mic, probably.
Sorry.
You're going to sound like you're in another room.
Okay, I'm just trying to kick back and be a little more comfortable. We need to get 2 mics.
We do.
But this is the only way that you and I really get to be this close.
Donate your money to Just Another Fanboy, gmail.com, PayPal.
Okay.
And he says, I got the basic idea, but alternating word balloons is a thing I still miss sometimes. As I said, I didn't even know that is what you were supposed to do. I would read one person's speech completely and then read the other person's, not realizing that sometimes they were replying back and forth. I'm sure there are things I still don't get right with comic reading. One of my pet peeves is reading Brian Michael Bendis. I'll get into that later.
Okay.
Because he has pages that read left page, then right page, then others that go all the way across. Let me tell you, you are never more confused until you get those mixed up. Yeah. Ugh. And I got to agree with you there, Jay, because I've been going back and reading the Ultimate Spider-Mans, which frankly, if you're a fan of the Spider-Man and you're not enjoying the regular titles that Marvel puts out, read Ultimate Spider-Man, because that's what does it for me. And I don't get it on a monthly basis, and I should, but I've been reading all the trades. But yeah, Bendis has this thing where you'll be reading and you'll go down one page, then you go to the next page and you'll flip over, and then he has the dialogue stretching from the left page over to the right page. Mm-hmm. And you'll get halfway down the left page and you realize this is not making any sense. Oh, I'm supposed to go over in. Oh, it's just it
really forces your left brain and right brain to work together, it sounds like.
It annoys me because it takes me out of the story.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be
sometimes you can be too creative, it sounds like. But I appreciate knowing that others have issues with it. That was great. Thank you.
Lastly, we have an email that we got just at the last minute. And this is from Justin. It says, Steeven and Karen, once again, I had to play catch up on the shows. It's amazing how you can get so behind, but I'm up to date now. My wife, Rachel, has been listening to some of the shows with me, and she enjoys what she hears.
Cool.
I think having Karen on the show is awesome. Oh. And I think she appeals to my wife with a similar understanding of being married to a fanboy. Lucky for me, my wife, Rachel, really digs comics already. My wife really likes Garth Ennis, mostly Preacher. You should ask Karen if she would be into the very mature stuff. Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but it's just a suggestion. Anyway, it's good to be up to date. Still listening, Justin the Kawawookie. P.S. My wife recommends The Waiting Place by Sean McKeever for Karen because this is what got her into comics. Plus, no capes in the books.
Well,
I've never heard of that one. No, never heard of it. But I hear good things about Sean McKeever. So
I'll have to check that out. You have to pick something up for me. Maybe.
I'll look for it, see if they got it at the library.
Okay. And you've said before that you think Preacher, as good as it is, wouldn't be for my taste because I'm just a little bit of a prude. And
yes,
and it's intentionally, I prefer to live my life a little bit prudish. So.
And it's very graphic. And my tastes have even changed somewhat because it first came out in the 90s when I was working at a comic book store and I just happened to come across the counter at one point and I flipped it open, was flipping through pages and was just like, holy cow, look at what this guy is doing. Oh my God, and I was hooked, and started buying all the issues. And I just recently, because I never finished the series from the monthly titles and then discovered that my library had all the trades. Mm-hmm. So I got all the trades from the library and went back just, last year and read it all the way through. And I enjoyed it, but God, that Ennis can just go way over the top with certain things. But that was listeners' feedback this week. Any comments you want to make on?
I just am really happy that people seem pleased with our new format and whatnot.
Because we were both kind of sweating. I think you more than me.
Well, yeah, because I was invading on your turf is what it felt like. We take it as an opportunity to do something together as a couple.
Well, and I
kind of selfishly do that. And then people, I was sure we're going to be going, what the heck?
Well, and like I said, I really from day one, I didn't want to do this podcast alone. But other than Craig from work and my brother who works second shift, I don't really know anybody that's into comics. You know, I don't have any friends in the area that can just come over once a week and sit down with me and talk comics. Yeah. So if I wanted to do this, I had to do it by myself, and therefore had to start adding these very silly things to really kind of fill the time, because also I love the silly.
We are very fond of the silliness. We've mentioned that before.
And it was a really good opportunity for me to.
Where are you, Heather?
Heather,
we need some silliness.
Yeah, we haven't got any voicemails either.
No, the voice line is dead. I wonder if there's a problem with it. Maybe.
Ooh, I don't know.
Maybe we should check it out, because there was. Yeah, we probably ought to check it out.
Maybe we should, because that's like 2 solid episodes in a row.
But you'd think if people weren't getting through, that maybe somebody would at least send you an email or post something about it. But
you'd think.
Yeah, but you never know, because you were getting quite a bit there for a while.
Yeah. But
people like to be on the air.
I am very happy to have you on the show.
Well, and I'm happy to be here.
I mean, I'd like to get back to some of the silliness, but
a
lot of it has to do with when
I'm pretty silly.
Yeah.
So
you're very
there you
silly.
go.
But I'm talking the scripted silly.
Yeah, you're good at that.
You know, like the 30 seconds of nonsense.
I love that.
You know, all the weird stuff that
I like that you got a way to get it out of you.
Yeah. I just don't have time to
so you don't
sit down and write
so much with the thoughts that are rumbling around in your head.
Yeah. Well,
so that was good feedback.
Yeah.
Very great.
Got anything to say before we? This might be a short episode.
Like I said, this is not a great day for me, and it's probably going to be like this, every few weeks, if you know what I mean. So I'm just having one of those days. So I'm just going to start crying now because I feel like I failed you because I'm not very.
I'm just sitting here staring at her.
He knows better.
You're right, dear. I love you. Speaking of which,
I love you too, man.
Who got I wasn't paying attention. Who got voted off for the old Dancing with the Stars tonight?
The beauty queen, I think.
Oh,
I can't even think of her name.
I don't know, but I didn't like her dancing partner.
Okay.
Didn't like him at all. Happy to see him go.
Yeah, I was trying to watch that and read Bone at the same time, so it didn't have my full attention. Oh, and my season 4 of Seventh Heaven came this week.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I think I watched 2.5 episodes last night. Stayed up, and I didn't have it in me to stay up any longer.
Should I tell my story of the weird happenings last night?
No. Because nobody else will understand. Just doors that were open that shouldn't be open, and
cat feces in the room
on the floor, and the cat doesn't come into the bedroom. So
cat doesn't
basically, we just assumed the boy got up and
let the cat in.
Probably walked around the house, which is just not a cool thing. We need to get some alarms on the door.
I keep hoping that
one of these days. Gosh darn it!
I keep hoping that one of these nights, because typically when we lay him down for bed, he tends to come out 4 or 5 times.
Oh yeah,
within like an hour and a half. Before he finally settles down. And I'm just really hoping that one of these nights that he's going to come out while we're recording.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe I can get him to come say a couple of words.
He'll just start laughing.
Yeah. He will.
He's so silly.
He once he gets that microphone in front of him, he just gets all kind of silly.
He's a nut about it.
I should one of these weeks play his ABC rendition that we recorded.
I wonder sometimes if anybody listens to the very tail end of the show after the comic book song. Because you've got your little sit, ubu sit, as I refer to it. You know, your little, production,
usually the end of every.
Your sit, ubu sit. And if you don't know what that is, then you're just way too
young.
If you
ever watch a lot of sitcoms, especially from the 80s, a lot of them had at the very end.
They all have their production logo music thing at the end or whatever.
I think Lost does it now with the bad robot.
Oh, yeah.
Or that might have been Alias. Yeah.
But the kids at the very end, do their bye, Daddy. Bye, Daddy.
Yeah.
It's just,
that's Simon
melts
and Ron.
my heart every time. So if you don't listen to the very tail end, listen to it, because them's my babies. Yeah. And they're just adorable. And I was just letting the cat back into the bedroom through their room. And if you haven't gone and looked at your children while they're asleep lately, if you've got little ones, go and do that tonight.
Do it. It's wonderful.
Oh my gosh. I haven't done that in a while, and I forgot just how absolutely adorable they are when they're asleep. Okay, we gotta wrap this up.
Okay.
I'll be back on track next week, I'm sure.
Let's wrap up the show. I want to send out another congratulations to the Raging Bullets podcast for celebrating 1 year of podcasting. I just finished up listening to the first part of their anniversary episode. They played our
very good. We're famous.
Had some nice things. And sounds like they're going to try to get me on, do a little Green Arrow talk. Or maybe not Green Arrow, because they've already got plans to have somebody on to talk Green Arrow, but Maybe
Well,
I'll
you'll
get on
talk
there.
a little something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And those guys will be on this show at some point this month to talk about Madman, because the first issue of Madman from Image comes out this month. So hopefully, if I can get off my tuchus and call the phone company to get us hooked up with
you
some
were supposed
DSL.
to do that on Monday.
I know. Yeah, I mowed the lawn on Monday.
Yeah.
That is a huge chore.
Yeah, with the push mower. Yeah.
My knee has been hurting all day.
Well, now
Bum
that
knee.
the grass is growing again this time of year, you'll get used to it.
I'd like to say that, I have a bum knee and like an old war wound or an athletic injury, but it's just bad living.
Hard living, baby.
Hard living. Lazy living more than anything. Okay, so let's talk about some ways you can spread a little of the Just Another Fanboy love. Send us an email at justanotherfanboy@gmail.com. Just tell us what you think of the show. There's usually a good chance that if you send us an email, we're going to read it on the show because we don't get that many emails.
That's right.
A lot of the podcasts like, Comic Geek Speak, you could send them an email and it may be months before they read it on the show because they get a lot of emails. They're the
So email.
They're the big boys. So email.
Okay.
You can also visit us at the board at cgspodcast.com/forum, followed by the number 2. That is the official Comic Geek Speak forum or their message board, and they host Just Another Fanboy forum over there. And you'll also find forums of a lot of the other great comic book podcasts
out there,
such as Raging Bullets, Comic Book Savant, who's getting ready to celebrate his 25th episode. So yay, Comic Book Savant. I also recommend visiting the Comics Podcast Network. We are a proud member of the Comics Podcast Network. You can find that at comicspodcasts.com. It's a great resource if you just want to know what other kind of comic book podcasts are out there. They don't have them all, but they got some of the best. Some of the best are over there. Yeah, it's a really great place to go. Also, if you feel inclined, give us an iTunes review. That really helps out the show if you give us a good review over at iTunes. You can also call the Just Another Fanboy voice line at 1-877-309-8367, extension 212.
We want to hear from you.
I'm going to say that again.
Please do. And get a pen handy.
Ready? Here we go.
Pull over to the side of the road if you're in your car.
Stop the jogging, get off the exercycle, whatever you're doing, get out a pen. Here we go. You ready? 1-877-309-8367, extension 212. Just, call and just...
You like eggs.
I like eggs. Blab some silly. Review a book. Whatever you want to do. Just call in, but keep it clean.
Yeah.
Because we do have children listening.
Simon likes eggs too, apparently. That's a short story I could tell real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The other morning, he was home and you were at work, and it was one of those mornings where the kids are just kind of running around doing their own thing. And I was at the computer, doing some stuff. And every once in a while, the kids will come up and, Mommy, this. And I'm like, And I don't give them quite the attention that, they're probably asking for, but it usually appeases them.
Yeah, it's not like that all the time.
No,
sometimes
no.
you just have those days.
It's just those days. And he is standing beside me saying something, and I'm giving him the, oh, wow, okay, without really looking. And he is like, I'm not buying that. He shoves in front of my face a bowl of raw eggs. And I kind of jump, and some of the egg white kind of slips over, and he goes, Mommy, look, yolk, Y-O-L-K, yolk. And I'm like, okay. And I jump up and I run to the kitchen, not knowing what I'm going to find. But really, he's such a good boy because there was an empty egg carton on the kitchen floor, but he had pushed in a dining room chair up to the kitchen counter, cracked the eggs into a bowl, and put the shells into another bowl. So he was very neat about it. It could have been so much worse. So guess what? Simon likes eggs.
Simon likes eggs. He likes cracking the eggs. He doesn't really enjoy eating them.
Yeah, and I wasn't thinking, and I tossed them. I could have made something with them.
Yeah, you could have made some eggs.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking.
I don't know.
I wasn't.
I also want to remind everybody about asking the fanboys. Email us, go on the board to the thread, and just, ask us whatever
We're
you'd like.
both Leos.
We will answer.
Could you guess?
Yes. We will answer your questions on the show. The theme song for this episode is Comic Book by the Super Spies. Find it and information about the band at garageband.com. The other music from the show is from the Podsafe Music Network at music.podshow.com. So, anything else you want to add?
That'll do it for tonight. I'm ready to go watch me some Boston Legal.
Yeah.
We taped it because it looked like a really good one tonight.
You know, you talk about getting your seventh heaven. It just makes me wish that May would come sooner so I could get my WKRP in Cincinnati.
I know you're
fixed.
very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And in honor of WKRP, in honor of Dr. Johnny Fever, Booger.
Oh,
Because that's how he got it. He got fired from his old job for saying booger on the air.
Yeah.
That's the way it was back then,
That's
you know.
the way it was.
See? All right. So I guess until next week, I'm Steven.
And I'm Karen.
And I'm just another fanboy.
And I'm having my own identity crisis. I don't know what I am.
Don't know where I am. Make a movie, takes the time to really understand. Shadows move out of sight, spin around to look at that. Now he's gone, shadow move, just like comic book. Just like comic book. Just like comic book. Just like comic
book. Bye-bye, Daddy.
Bye-bye, Daddy.
Good job.